Welcome back. In this episode, we're just going to talk a little bit more about Workspace, particularly a question that came up about what to do when the workspace gets reconfigured or jumbled around. So if you look at my screen here, you'll see this workspace does not look familiar to what you've seen in the previous videos. There's a timeline down here. We have the histogram and info up here, library and adjustments. A lot of different things showing here that we haven't seen, and there's some other windows that aren't showing. So there's a little thing we can do to help make it very easy to revert back to our comfortable workspace uh, in case something like this happen. So what I do is once I have my workspace all set the way I would like, I go to Window, I go to Workspace, and I can do New Workspace. And from there, I can name the workspace. I can even go ahead and save toolbars, menus, and keyboard shortcuts into that workspace, which is what I do. That way, everything that I want is captured in this, is saved in this workspace. And you can have different workspaces, so if you find some are more helpful for you in certain situations than some others. Particularly, I'm sure if you're working with actual photographs on the side, you probably have a workspace that's very good for that, and you may have a different workspace that's helpful for library work. So we would rename this and we would save it and we would go from there. I'm going to hit cancel. I've already done that. And so once we have it in there, I'm sure you saw here that there is this workspace called JV Default, and that is the workspace I saved and that I use. And so if I go over here, a shortcut, instead of going to the window drop-down menu, is in the upper right-hand corner. If we just click this, whenever our workspace gets jumbled up, and click on whatever the name of your workspace that you want is, and there it is. The history is back, layers are back, actions are back. I have all these things that are normal to my workspace. And in the library, as I mentioned in the previous episode, in episode 2, I have these windows that are floating here. I have these windows actually on a second monitor to the right. That way I have full use of my workspace, my canvas here on the monitor on the left. And even if it's across two monitors, once you save the workspace, if you click it, it will go back to that. The only thing you might have a few issues with is if you save that workspace and then you have only one monitor, and it may do some funny things as it tries to fit the windows back onto a single monitor. So that's how you can avoid having a disrupted workspace, or how to at least get it back to what you'd like to see, and how you can save it as your own personal workspace.